It's been a comedy of errors today, hasn't it?
Every commercial break.
Every commercial.
Did Bill get you fixed? Is that my technical expert over there?
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, is that the guy getting it done?
Thank you, Bill.
Bill taking care of the headphone issues? Yep. Well done, Bill. This segment of our show today produced by the sports Dr. Colin McLaughlin and brought to you in part by Larry DeMarco and Company at Century 21 Modern Realty Results, by WVU Medicine, and by CMA Honda. Coming up on 382-300, Maria, I think later this week I'll have the 382-382 on the odometer.
Oh, that's cool. Still February 25th, 2020?
2:26:26. That's the target goal for four bills, baby.
Okay. And I'd suggest he could accelerate that by driving an additional 20 miles today, but he'd have no part of it. So, yeah, going back and forth.
So my question is, what day is the 26th in 26? What day of the week are we going to have a party? That's my question.
I knew this answer like 3 months ago when
or
maybe whatever it was. It was actually more than a year. Last year, it was in 25 when I pegged that date. Sometime in the summer or fall of 25, I pegged that date. Our guest is Mark Peiffer, Community Markets. Mark, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me.
What we're talking about here is when my car goes over 400,000 miles. That's what Maria's referring to. You kind of came in the latter stages of that part of the conversation.
The 26th is a Thursday. Thursday.
Well, you know what I'll do for you? I'll run extra miles and do it on the 25th.
Okay, that sounds great.
I'll do the extra 20 miles Bill wants me to do. Mark, tell us about Community Markets and the work that you do.
Sure. So, in short, we are doing food security work and access to healthy, locally grown food in the Panhandle and in 10 counties. And so what that means in short is that we're helping connect locally grown food to those in need. Programmatically, we have a twice monthly food box giveaway that we do, feeding 150 to 300 families in the region. And then we have a weekly mobile farmers market that makes local, healthy, affordable food available to those who need it.
And what are your concerns right now?
Concerns? Well, I mean, one of the bigger things that's happened nationally and really affected us locally and many other organizations is the loss of the AmeriCorps members. And so about 6-8 weeks ago, we went from a team of 6 to just me. And so we hired back one of them full time, and we have 2 part-timers now and a growing number of volunteers. So really just continuing, impact, continuing to grow with the internal hits and capacity, continuing to be able to serve the community, and really looking for longer-term funding, solutions. So
where were you getting your funding before?
Well, so really, fortunately, with a lot of the shakeups on the federal level, there hasn't been major changes to our funding. But because we're only in our 5th year, just really finding those kind of right mix of whether it's self-generated revenue, which really what we're moving towards more with our mobile markets. We plan to open another one in Paw Paw in about a month or so. But also, grants, private donations. People don't realize that just a monthly donation of even $5 makes a huge difference. So just trying to find those longer-term solutions so we can continue impacting the community.
How do you donate to Community Markets?
CommunityMarketsInc.org/donate is a great start.
And you can do all your donations that way. What if you have food to donate?
If you have food to donate, so our office now is in Shepherdstown. We also have kind of a logistics hub, if you will, in Charlestown, and so they can bring it to our office there. We're at Covenant Church in the professional business park there, and so come in the south entrance, look for the CMI yard sign, the green one, and we can accept food that way.
How great are the needs right now?
Ever increasing. I mean, there's a lot of federal workers laid off. There's the constant need of just those that for whatever reason can't make ends meet, and just in these sort of uncertain times, we're trying to continue helping provide nutrition, provide some hope, provide community to those in need. And really, it's kind of I've doubled down in my response and in our organization, and just I think it's more of a call now more than ever for the community to come together. While these funding sources are removed, it's really up to us now more than ever to continue feeding and serving those most vulnerable in our community.
Where do you get your fresh food, and what qualifies as fresh food?
Yeah, so we prioritize West Virginia farmers and producers, and we also, since we're in this tri-state area, work a little bit over the border within 50 miles with some kind of based on where our networks have taken us, farmers in Maryland, farmers in Pennsylvania, and really our farmers, we look at like Crestview Meat Market, for example, a butcher right on 45, actually past it coming to you all. While they may not have the kind of certified organic stamp, their meat is not going to have any of the fillers, the antibiotics, the growth hormones that that some of the national brands would have, or most of them, and yet you're not going to pay that price point, $10 a pound for ground beef to get your grass-fed and grass-finished. So it's the middle of the road, like it's what my family eats, it's what we distribute out and have at our markets as well for sale. But it's affordably priced. It's priced comparably or better than the store. And that's also getting a fair price to the farmer. But then it is a far healthier cut of meat, or whatever it is, produce, eggs.
Sure. Do you then charge the end user in this situation? Do they come to you for food? Do they have to pay for the food?
Well, so if we distinguish from programs, the food box giveaway program is free of charge. If you come and demonstrate need, we're not going to take income levels or whatnot. If you come to us, you need food, we're going to make sure you go home with some, and that is supplemented through our mobile market, in which it is charged, and so we do accept SNAP at that market. And again, the prices, just go look at them. For all the staple items, they're comparably or better priced than the store. So our eggs, for example, are $4.69 a dozen right now.
And Maria, you did a project with this guy.
We did, and
through what organization?
It was during, I think it was the United Way Day of Caring.
Yes, right? Last September, I believe.
Last September. Yes. And Mark had gotten in touch and was looking for a location. And of course, hospice has this great big old parking lot that we could allow his troops to sort of set up there and be able. And it was an amazing success. I mean, there were just a ton of people. I was a little concerned because I thought, well, we're kind of out in the middle of, well, we're right on the border of Berkeley and Jefferson County, and yet people knew and people came. And I think what's most interesting about what Mark does is this whole premise. I mean, we know we have food banks, and we know that folks are very generous to CCAP Loaves and Fishes and lots of other entities like that. But Community Market's focus is really the partnering with local farmers and fresh food. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. And that's just, something that we should, really try to focus on, I think. So
a state with a very big obesity rate problem. Obesity oftentimes associated with a poor diet, poor health, right? Right. So you eat better foods, you lose weight, Bill Stubblefield.
You mentioned folks in need. That implies there's a lot of groups in the area that provide focus on folks in need. CCAP, Rescue Mission, Meals on Wheels, and the like. Various churches. Do you work with any of these organizations?
Yes.
And how do you work with them?
Absolutely. So we've actually started a kind of a reseller program, if you will. So whether you're a food bank, whether you're a restaurant per se, and are going to use it in your actual end product to the consumer, whether you're a small grocery store. There was one that just Queen Street Country Market that just opened right on Queen Street in Martinsburg. We're able to, at a much lower rate than retail, get these folks foods, and then they can distribute them out to their people. So, for example, like the Posey Perry funds, they're expiring coming up on the 30th, and so a lot of food pantries, they'll just go directly to the store and buy retail. And again, this is a national brand product or whatnot. But again, we can get a way lower price point than retail to these food banks. We've also worked with them in different ways of just donating food in times. But that's kind of some of the ways we've worked with them. And really, we don't see competition here at Community Markets Inc. We're not the first one on the block by any means, kind of providing local food access points and helping our local farmers. So we really try to fill in the gaps in service where perhaps these single location, food pantries and whatnot, or farmers markets are just serving a certain population. So we actually have mobile cold storage trailers. That's really one of our main infrastructure pieces that allows us to go places where Sea Blows and Fishes or the Roundhouse Farmers Market or where they're not serving. And so, we're collaborating with them and complementing them.
And that's what I was most surprised about. I'm like, look at their big truck that they came in and, and had all this stuff in the back.
Yeah.
So
how'd you throw all this together, Mark? When did you begin doing it?
So I got involved about a month after we were incorporated legally, and it was a perfect time to start a nonprofit. It was during the lockdown, so it was March of perfect time, March of 2020. But our board saw a need, so we were all at home, scared, didn't know what was going on. Hopefully not watching the news, but many of us doing that, and just in the sense of trying to keep our peace, right? Trying to keep a level head, and it's good to keep us informed, of course, but that doesn't always help with that aspect. But yeah, so just news is great to keep us informed. But anyway, so
news is frightening, dude.
Can be. Yes, but there's always good news, and hopefully we can be part of that at CMI. But no, they with the store shelves empty, it's like, well, how do we help our farmers? How do we keep feeding people? There's people at home scared that need food. And so the mobile aspect was critical in that, and trying to strengthen the local food system so we're not completely dependent on outside food being trucked in from the national or international food chains. That's one of the aspects we're addressing here. And the idea of cold storage, speaking to Commissioner Kent Leonard with WVDA, he very clearly pointed out early on in the first summer I met with him back in 2020. We've met a couple of times since, but cold storage.
He's a good guy. Yeah.
He is, doing a lot of good work in the state. He said that cold storage is a critical infrastructure piece, particularly on the Eastern Panhandle, that is inhibiting our farmers from really unlocking their full production potential. And so we took that, paired with our kind of founding, when we were founded, to be mobile cold storage. And so that's where we fill in those gaps, whether it's we bring a mobile market into town. Let's say Pawpaw, we're opening Potomac Bend's market here soon.
So what does that look like? What does a mobile market look like in Pawpaw?
Sure. So there are farmers there that maybe, they want to join up with us and just have a single time and place to come set up so that the community can access this healthy food. They have a Dollar General in town, and that suits some needs, but not all of our nutrition needs. And so, we're just trying to bring, in this case, it'll be once every 2 weeks for the pilot year, about 15 or so vendors bring their products in on our cold storage trailer. We do have a e-commerce website, so you can pre-order. That helps the farmer know exactly what to harvest and bring to market or to send with us to market. And it also guarantees we have a certain number of sales already before we even show up. So you think, how can Pawpaw sustain a market if there's going to be 12 vendors setting up their own stalls? It's just not going to be the best use of time and resources for everybody. This is a way to actually make it financially viable
because
for
it's all going
parties.
In that truck, right?
That's right. And it saves everyone time. Think about the infrastructure. Like, everyone doesn't have to set up a tent. Everyone doesn't have to show up. It saves a lot of time on the farmers. On the farmer's side, and also for the consumer, it's all into one location, right? We can accept SNAP, that sort of thing.
So do the farmers then sell it to you on a consignment basis, or are they literally selling their item one at a time to people that come by?
So it's both. We have some product on hand, which is available for those who just walk up, like any farmer's market. But the pre-order is really the way to take the best advantage of it. We're able to buy from the farmer at a fair price, and then we bring it right to the market. Because really, as we see it, how do you keep our West Virginia farmers growing is keeping them growing. So how do you take out logistics, aggregation, distribution, marketing, right? How do we keep them in the field or, baking bread or processing meat? Is you need to free up their time to do more of that. So we're trying to help kind of, if you want to say, service provider to these farmers so they can just keep growing.
You provide them with a market to sell their goods.
Yes.
And how do you get the word out, Mark? How do people in Pawpaw know that the trucks are coming?
Boots on the ground.
Okay.
I mean, so first step is who's already doing the work in town. Okay, so starting point's FSC. Audrey Morris They're doing awesome work there. And so we don't just go into a town and say, hey, here's what you need, right? Because probably they need healthy food and nutrition just based on what I know. But I want them to tell me, yeah, like we want this in our town. We want you to come in and help. I also have connections right now in Boone and Tyler County because the plan is to be statewide in some capacity by 2030. Because as you know, the need in the coal fields, the need Mid-Ohio Valley, I mean, around the state, there's greater and greater need. We are, of course, economically blessed being here on the far eastern Panhandle in Jefferson, Berkeley County, but there's obviously a lot of need here. So with this mobile cold storage, continuing to serve this area, but expanding, to a larger swath, eventually to all 55 counties is the goal.
Mark Peiffer, our guest here from Community Markets. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, you get your money from who? You're a 501c3.
Well, if you go to communitymarketsinc.org/partners, you can see all those who are currently partnering with. And really what I love is it takes the community, right? It's cross sectors. We have grocery stores supporting us. We have banks. We have healthcare providers because more and more healthcare providers are learning that and putting money behind now. Preventative locally sourced healthy food is the best preventative medicine,
Sure.
What you alluded to earlier. So also we have had one grant, appropriations through HUD, through which Manchin and Capito both supported. So that is our first federal grant we've had, but it's largely just cobbled together, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, community foundations. So it's a whole swath of, it's very a lot of sectors coming together.
What is your operating budget at this point in time?
We're sitting at about 300K, very small, but growing. So in our 5th year, and keeping overhead as low as possible, and trying to make sure as much gets out to those in need, to our farmers, and to families in need.
You mentioned AmeriCorps earlier, which unfortunately that is no longer viable, which I think is very unfortunate. So how many do you have on staff now? You and
two. Yeah, two. So I'm operations manager full time. We have a development manager. So she was our fundraising specialist, Maria, as an AmeriCorps, and so we were able to retain her. In 6 months, she raised $130,000 for us. So we figured, I think we should hire her. Yeah. So that was kind of a no-brainer. And then we do have outreach specialist, Abby McBee, and she just got back from University of Alabama, graduated there with her MPA. So she's part-time as outreach right now, and then we're bringing on another part-timer in July. But it's really, the community response has been huge in the wake of these cuts. A lot of volunteers have stepped forward, and that has grown. And so, anyone looking to help out, we'd love to be in touch.
Is your background more in organizing, in agriculture, or in business, Mark? Because it sounds like you need to use all three here.
Yes. I'm a generalist now. I got my start in the nonprofit world as an AmeriCorps actually over 10 years ago. So we were a Habitat for Humanity affiliate, which no longer exists, that was serving Pendleton, Pocahontas County, Poco, and Greenbrier counties. So that was my introduction to the nonprofit world and West Virginia. I stayed. I also do have a business background.
Yeah, where are you from?
Northern Virginia. So
Northern Virginia.
Fairfax, I think this is best Virginia. So the development's all coming this way, as we're well aware. But and I love being within striking distance of my parents. But the beauty here, the agricultural heritage, and also the community, like the people, it really struck me. West Virginians are wonderful people, big hearts, and so trying to give back. I've been so invested in and kind of brought into the fold, so to speak, as a West Virginian now, not being native born, but helping in a small way provide really some hope, some nutrition to those who need it, some community.
Yeah. Why did you decide to go this route when you got out of college?
I mean, there was always the desire to help those in need, and I really think this opportunity presented itself. And growing up without really, having the phrase I always landed on was like, I don't want to be like another cog in the corporate wheel, which is like really a negative way to put it. But to be in a position where you're able to, lead a small team and help affect some good is very gratifying. And so, it's just, I mean, obviously there's the board that helps set the direction, but day to day it's very like just working with the team to get stuff done, so just the desire to help. And actually when Hurricane Katrina hit in 2005, I was in middle school and I wanted to, for whatever reason, I wanted to go help down there, but it just wasn't possible. So I did do a little 3-month internship down there as well. But I guess the desire to help and give back and really better the community where I am, where I find myself is
And you
has
have
always
a
been on my
young
heart.
child too.
Two, actually, yes.
Two.
So
Okay, we
Joseph,
only had one come visit with you when
Yes, that's
when
right.
You paid
Yeah.
a visit to
More
it-
volunteers, right? More volunteers.
well, eventually, right? Yeah. So our oldest Joy it just turned 2, and she lives up to her name most of the time, right?
Sure.
And we all have our moments. And then Joseph now is 6 months old. So yeah,
Very close.
I tell my
Okay.
wife, I say, yeah, we'll Joy will be running food box giveaways in a couple of years, perhaps. So
Start them young,
that's right.
right? How do you get from this point to statewide, Mark? What's the next thing that needs to happen?
Well, so connections around the state. I was at the Capitol over this past session, just updating some of our elected officials on what we're doing, and a lot of them have been very supportive. But really, I tell people awareness is 50% of the partnership. So again, now you all know that we exist. For anyone who doesn't know we exist, they really can't. I'm a networker. I really try to be a doer and help get things done. So, and I think many movers and shakers in the community are the same way. And so just knowing about each other. So being down there just to let our elected officials know, hey, here's who we are, here's what we do. If there's any way you can help us better serve the community.
Sounds like you have a very progressive board of directors. Who's on your board?
Yeah, so we have
30 seconds, by the way.
Oh, sure. So we have 2 small business owners who are in IT, but so they wanted to use the e-commerce side to better and automation to help our farmers. We also have a permanent Deacon Dave from St. James in Charlestown, and then just another local business owner.
Mark, real quick, how do you donate to community markets?
CommunityMarketsinc.org/donate.
That sounds easy. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Great to meet you. Let's stay in touch.
Sure,
Let
sounds
us
good.
know what your upcoming
Thank you.
projects are.